What's in the box? Gee, I don't know. Maybe we should open it and find out. About 2 videos back, I went looking for the cheapest short scale bass I could find on the internet. And I ended up at Musician's Friend. My first mistake. And then I decided to make a purchase from Musician's Friend. That ended up being my second mistake. Look, it's a long story. I won't bother you here. Anyway, you can watch me tell the tale in the link in the upper right hand corner. Now we've got a new one here, at least I hope we do, because this box feels really light, and that's got me nervous. I'm also kind of worried that maybe they're going to send me the same instrument, just, you know, turning it around, turning it over again, and not knowing it's me that sent it in the first place. So this could be fun. Wow. I don't know what to say right now. I really don't. This I didn't buy a new no box. I didn't buy new other, or I didn't buy used. This is supposed to be new in box. I don't know what to say about this. I mean, it's cheap enough that if everything is fine, I can just say okay, I think, but I gotta see how I feel. I gotta chew on this for a little while. But in the meantime, we still got to examine this guitar. So I'm going to take the bubble wrap off this thing, and I'm going to have you guys watch, because I need to document this. This is, I've never seen this before. Let's get this off. Well, I don't know how I feel about this, but in for a penny, in for a pound, right? At least I got enough bubble wrap to send it back if I have to. I am so nervous that this is the exact same bass I set them. I don't know otherwise at this point, right? This is the Mitchell MB100 short scale bass. Let's take a look. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. My initial thought is it's definitely not the same instrument that I sent back to Musician's Friend a couple of videos back. Now, if you're wondering why that would be a concern when I picked this guitar, when I picked this bass up from Guitar Center, well, you should probably check out the video that we did a couple of videos back. The link is going to be in your upper right hand corner. There's a whole story. All right. But anyway, it's not that instrument. How do I know? Well, this one has the plastic still on the pickups. All right. So it's not mine. It's not the original one. That's good. Overall, I think this is a pretty solid instrument as far as looks go. Right. It's just gray. Okay. The parts feel okay. So right about now would be the point where I would normally be trying to do the work that needs to be done to the instrument and showing it to you before we go on to the next part, which would be to play the guitar. Unfortunately, this guy decided to be a pain in the butt. Basically, what took place was a wrestling match. Nothing was done to this before I left the factory. Nothing, and it really showed in the way in the work I had to do to set it up. Going from adjusting the nut to adjusting the string height to adjusting the intonation and back, and having to keep playing around with those things and having to set up the cameras over and over again. I would have been doing it all night, so I had to stop doing the video shoot and just get it done. So my apologies for that, but we're here. The bass is pretty much ready. I've gotten it all set up. I found some flaws in the instrument. Don't worry, we'll talk about those a little later, because when we're done with this, I'm going to give you my review on the instrument. So we're going to be playing the Mitchell MB100 out of my Donner DBA 30 bass amp, which, by the way, I've been meaning to review, so look for that coming up soon, okay? So I've set this up to the general bass tone that I like, which is a little bit on the bright side. I like 80s metal, so a little bright, a little clacky, but still kind of punchy is kind of what I go for. Not as much as I used to when I was younger, but I still like a little bit more bite and less mud in my tone. So besides that, it's basically, we're just going to be checking the tone for both pickups, and that's it. All right. And by the way, it's been a while since I played bass. My memory on the songs I used to know has faltered a bit, so I'm just going to jam on some stuff that I've been working on. All right. That'll help us out with the algorithm too, you know what I'm saying? So, all right, so right off the bat, I noticed some hum, some hiss. That's not the 60 cycle hum. That has to do with the grounding. We have a grounding problem. Right there, minus points. More on that later. Now I'm just going to be using the P-bass pickup. Full volume, full brightness. With a pick, doing something a little Lemmy inspired. Sounds nice, mid-rangey. It's a P pickup. Now we're just going to use the jazz, full volume, full tone. By the way, just full tone, because this is nothing more than an on-off switch, basically. There's no messing with tone on this, so. But more on those faults later. All right, so now just the jazz, same riff. You know, I just noticed now that I forgot to play the bass with both pickups turned up. So, sorry. But what did you think of the tones you heard? Let me know in the comments. And while you're at it, how about subscribing, ring the notification bell, because when you do that, you'll never miss a video and we'll get to see you more. And if you like this video, smashing that like button lets the algorithm know, and it sends the video out to more people. So that helps us out too. And if you'd like to support the channel, you can do that by clicking the Super Thanks button and leaving us a tip, or heading on over to the merch store via the link in the description below, and buying a hat, a t-shirt, a coffee mug, or a sticker. I am so on the fence about this bass right now. I really want to keep it. I want to have nothing but good reasons to keep it though, and that's really not the case here. So let me take a look at it from the top down, okay? Up here, everything seems to be pretty good here. The tuners seem to be working as tuners should, more or less. And doesn't seem to be too much slippage, although I haven't really had it that long. So I could still determine that that's the case. The neck itself is, it's not super slim, but it's kind of slim. It's a slim C. I don't think it has any finish on it at all on the back, but I'm okay with that. And the fretwork, the sides of the frets are really nice, believe it or not. There's no sprout. There's no sprout at all. The fret height, though, it's a little uneven. It's close. I have this at a playable height, but it's just really, for me, playable. I would really like to lower just about another ½ millimeter. But it's already starting to buzz on certain frets and on certain strings. So that tells me that there's problems with the frets having been properly leveled. So I'm going to have to take a look at that. The neck had a bow in it. And I used up most of the truss rod getting the bow out, so if I keep it, I'm going to have a limited amount of adjustment available to me, and then the neck's going to be basically no good. So I have to consider that. The pickups sound good. I like the way these pickups sound, but there's an insufficient amount of padding or springs underneath the pickups to apply resistance to the screws, so that if I need to raise the pickups, they'll move up. Okay, there's not enough of it, so they don't come up there. So these are a little bit low, believe it or not, from where they're supposed to be according to Fender spec. So I got to do that. Not a big deal. Just about any kind of foam will do. The bridge was so far out of whack, I don't think that they did anything other than put the bridge on here and then put the strings on the guitar. I don't think they did anything with the intonation or the height or anything. It was a mess. The pots, these pots are basically just on-off switches. The volume, 2 volumes, and the tone. And there is an issue with the ground, I believe, comes from the tone control. Because when I turn the tone control down, it goes away. So that's going to have to be tended to. But if that's going to get tended to, I may as well change the pots, fix that problem. This I don't consider a huge issue, because this guitar was only $120, and this is a common thing with inexpensive guitars. The padding I don't really consider a big issue. The only real big issue for me is actually the neck. If it goes too far out of whack, I can't do anything. You know what I mean? So, but it is only $120. So we'll see. It's the weekend. I'll see how I feel on Monday. So the bottom line for the Mitchell MB100 short scale bass is that it can be a good bass. It just needs a little TLC when you get it. So if you have the skills to do that work, then it's going to be a good deal for you, even at its regular listing price, because I did pick this up at $120 on sale. I think the regular list price is $180. All right, but don't quote me on that. Depending on where you live, what country you live in, it'll be a little different. But that's kind of where it sits, though. If you have the skills to do this, you know, it's probably going to be a deal for you. If you don't have the skills to do this, these are things you're going to want to tend to. And if you have the money to spend on doing that, you have the money to spend on a better instrument. All right, so you might want to consider that instead. That's going to do it for this one, guys. I want to thank everybody for coming. You've been awesome. I've been RJ. Until the next one, take it easy.